What up, everyone? Long time no see. As always, been busy as hell lately, but I had to make some time to make a video. A few things to update on. I know every time I come back I say I'm going to do more videos, but I'm a terrible liar, so I always say that I want to do more videos, but I just never seem to have the time. Because something always comes up. Health issues, work, all that shit. And I'm sick right now, if you can't tell. And I had a terrible week last week. If you don't follow me on Instagram, feel free to do so, but that's why I'm all bandaged up and I still have my black eye here. So it's been pretty rough lately. But yeah, I wanted to do some reviews. I wanted to do a review on Captain Marvel, but I didn't get a chance to, so I'd like to do some movie reviews and stuff when I get the time. Captain Marvel sucked, by the way. I didn't like it at all. But hopefully I can have more time to do that. And a lot of people on the channel also ask me about video game stuff. They're always asking me to post videos of gaming and things like that. So I've been doing a lot of that lately, actually. I'm going to leave some links in the description to any gaming videos I do. I give to my brother's channel. So I'll put his YouTube link in the description. Also, I joined a Smash Brothers League, which is kind of like a football league. So if you're interested in that, there's another YouTube channel for that and also a Twitch channel. So lots of interesting gaming stuff if anyone is interested. But I get asked that the most more than anything else. So I thought I'd start leaving links to those other channels if you want to go view that. Other than that, we got our usual boxes here. So we have 9 boxes, but from only 5 different companies. So I think we have 2 months worth on most of the boxes. And we're in an off season right now because we're in between the quarterly boxes. The quarterly boxes seem to all come at the same time, and I'm pretty sure they all come next month. So this video is in between those quarterly boxes, so these ones are mostly all the monthly or bi-monthly boxes. So these are in no particular order, by the way, because it gets hard to put them in order when there's so much, there's a few of each box, because sometimes 1 month of one box will do better than another month, and it's just mixing up. So these are in no particular order. And I'm pretty sure I had more announcements, but I can't remember. Oh, I also, if you're not following me on my Instagram, either my personal one or the Beardy Nerd one, please do that, because I recently finally got to go shopping. I haven't been shopping in so long. I haven't been able to buy stuff. I feel so out of the loop with collectibles because I just haven't had time to go check things out. And I finally got to today. I made a whole day out of it, so I bought a lot of really cool shit. So if you're not following me, do that so you can see the cool stuff I bought and some little reviews on that as well. Other than that, we'll get to the reviewing. Pup's staring at me. Come here. Come around. Come over here. Come on. Oh my goodness. Come on. Oh, there's the puppy. Oh, there's the puppy. Oh, it's puppy time. Oh, it's puppy time. It's puppy time. It's puppy time. It's puppy time. Puppy time. Oh. 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 Oh, the doggy. And he wants beer. Want beer? It's good? Yeah. Because me and Pup share beers. Okay. So without further ado, let's get to these boxes. So the first one on the list is the Bandbox, which is back, surprisingly. So I don't know what happened to this box. I have zero explanation. It just wasn't around for like 6 or 8 months. I don't remember canceling it. Like I said, it was probably a credit card issue. And I also don't remember resubscribing to it. But it's back now with no explanation. So it just kind of left. We broke up for a while and now it's back. So I don't know what else to say about that. But I'm glad it's back because I always liked it. I just don't really know what happened. So we have 2 months here. The first one is the January box. The 3rd anniversary of it. Just crazy. I can't believe it's been around 3 years because I've been with this box since the very first one. And, they've been okay lately, but they've got some room for improvement on these recent boxes just because the autographs in there have not been so great. Each month's box had some cool pins, and the autographs have just not been super great. They've been with kind of off-name people. The January box was with a guy from Young Guns, Chavez E. Chavez. So we've been seeing a lot of those lately where it's like very obscure people, where it's like barely recognizable. It's from like TV shows and movies that are very old, and it's also from like a third-party character. So the February one was similar. It was from Stand By Me, a character from that, which was a good movie, but from the 80s, and it was Eyeball Chambers, who was just a very not well-known character. And yeah, so the characters, the people they've been getting have not been super great. And you know, honestly, my advice to the company is that they should really be doing voice actors, in my opinion. There are so many character voices that would be cool to have from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s that are recognizable voices that would probably be easy autographs to get, because those people are not very famous. So it probably wouldn't be too hard to get them to sign some autographs. And on top of that, it probably wouldn't be too expensive either, because a lot of them are out of work or only did one voice, or even if they're still working, they would probably have some time to sign some autographs, so it wouldn't be too difficult. So that's something that's much more recognizable, because everyone recognizes cartoon characters. They may not know the specific actor or actress that voiced them, but it'd still be cool to get those autographs because it's immediately recognizable. Whereas the people they've been picking lately, it's not that we don't recognize them, it's just they're very, very obscure. If they didn't show a picture, I probably wouldn't remember who that character was, because honestly, the one from the movie, I don't think they ever even said the guy's name, and this from Young Guns, I don't think I ever watched that show. So at least they're getting people that we can recognize, but I think they'd be better off sticking with voice actors on those times they can't get very famous people. They've never gotten super famous people in there, but they've gotten some somewhat recognizable. It's just lately, these past two and the months before that I was getting it, the people are just so obscure, I'm not even sure if I want to keep those autographs, because I just have no personal connection to them. Whereas, I remember one time they did, the guy that did the voice of Beast Boy and also did Michelangelo, he's pretty well known, but still, like voice actors, it would be so much easier and recognizable and make people a lot happier. Speaking of which, it was the... Which one was it? I think it was January that we got an animation cell. Oh yeah, it was January. So there's a backside to it. That we got an animation cell, which I also think is a good idea. I think that's a good choice on their part because, again, very unrecognizable characters from shows that probably only had one season like 20 years ago. But at least it's something that's collectible. It comes with the drawing and the cell, and those are easy to get. There's still so many of them around, and they're somewhat recognizable characters. Like, I got one from Back to the Future. I didn't know the Back to the Future cartoon existed, but I'm familiar with the movie, and I kind of recognize the character, so I think that's a good call. They've done that a few times in the past, and I've always been pretty happy. Even when they're pretty obscure things based on movies. Like one time I got a Ghostbusters one, and I thought it was really cool, honestly. I think it's really nice to have framed up. It doesn't cost too much for that company, and it's still something that's very nostalgic and for people to enjoy. So I say a good call on that. And let's see, February, we got a little Waffles box replica, which was weird, and some very cheap sunglasses, which was also like very cheap. So that one wasn't too hot. And then as always, we get an art print, which are fine. We got one, the January one was from Anchorman, and they had some, I kind of thought it was from one of the actors I got excited about, but it was just an art print, and we got the artist signature, which is fine, and then one of Cabbage Patch Dolls, or the Garbage Pail Kids, same thing. So the art prints are cool too, but again, the art lately has not been that great, and I think it's just because these subscription boxes are struggling to keep afloat, so the names they're having in these signatures are not as famous people, and the art prints are not that great, and the items in there aren't that great as well, so collectively these boxes have been kind of going downhill, and it's kind of showing here too. So that's why my advice to them, like I said, do more cells and things like that. It's cheap, but it's still much appreciated. And do voice actors versus actual actors so they're a little more recognizable. And the only thing that they consistently do well is the pins. The January ones were kind of weird, but other than that, they do pretty good pins. They do a good job on those. But that's the only thing that's really consistent about it. The collectibles have not been super on par lately. But like I said, I'm glad the box is back. And if things go well with that company, I may check out their horror one. I have heard good things about it, but I'm assuming that's in the same situation that box was, in the sense that it's probably going downhill a little bit, and the autographs that they're getting are probably from very, very obscure people. And you know, honestly, they might want to think about switching to a bi-monthly system or even a quarterly system, because that seems to be the way that all these boxes are going. And yeah, it's probably very difficult to get a famous person's signature, have them sign, how many boxes they send out, like a couple thousand, if not like 10,000 or something like that. It's probably very difficult to get anyone to do that in a short amount of time and do it every single month. But if they switch to a quarterly system, then maybe they could have more famous people and do less of them because they have more time to do it. So again, that's my advice to them, to that company, and I think those are the routes they should take. Alright, next box on our list. Can I have a kiss? 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 Thank you. Next box on our list, Marvel Collector Corps. So this is the only one by Funko I'm still getting, because it's the only one that still gets delivered. And that's one of the main problems I have about that that box, is that, like I said in the beginning of the video, like this is the first time I went out to go shopping in probably like 6 months. Like I literally haven't been to the mall in 6 months because I just don't have the time, which is very sad. But that's the problem, that so many of these boxes have moved to brick and mortar stores and I just can't get in there. Even when I was working at Hot Topic, I didn't have time to get the box. So the Disney one is at Hot Topic, and Marvel Collector Corps is on Amazon, but they still deliver as like a subscription would. And then, as far as I know, the DC one still hasn't found a home. And then, what was the other one? Star Wars, I think, was another website thing. But yeah. Or the DC one might be at Target now. So it's just hard to pick those boxes up, and some of them aren't even mystery boxes anymore. And also, Loot Crate is in Walmart now. But I'll talk about that when we get to it. So anyway, the Marvel one's the only one that still delivers, but I'm glad because that's my favorite one. That's my probably favorite fandom. And from what I've seen, the other boxes haven't been that great. The Disney one has not been super great, and DC ones haven't been around, and the Star Wars ones have just been okay as well. So this is the only one I like enough to keep around. And as you can see, the boxes are getting smaller and smaller. This is very small. I saw the Disney one at Hot Topic when I went shopping today. The Dumbo one, it is very, very small. It looks like, I wouldn't even say a shoebox, but like a Converse shoebox, where they're very, very small, slender things. And I don't even think it has a pop figure in it, which is pretty sad to see. So anyway, this one was X-Men, and the same thing we saw with the last box, where they had the 10-year one. They're so small, it's just not a proper representation of it. And they've already are on the bi-monthly system, so you'd think they'd be getting a little more stuff and a little more quality. So since it's still so small, maybe they should move to a quarterly system as well, because this was an X-Men box, and we got like barely 4 characters even represented here. So we got Archangel as the Pop, which he was a cool character, but seems like a very obscure choice as far as like X-Men, because there were so many characters they didn't hit in the last X-Men box. And then we got Dark Phoenix, which is obvious because they're trying to promote that movie. And then a Wolverine little pen, like fine, good choice on that. And then some socks that are toe socks, which I hate, those are annoying, that are blue, so I'm guessing that's to represent Beast. But it doesn't really do so. They're pretty much just blue socks with a little X on them. So there's just not much design quality at all. So the Pop is an obvious choice. Oh, and the last item was a notebook, which I've been seeing a lot lately too. Not just in boxes in general, but from Funko. They've been putting notebooks in there a lot. And again, probably because it's easy and it's cheap. But one, whoever needs more than one notebook? And two, it's, again, very simplistic. It just kind of has the X and the Xavier School logo on it. That's not very great. They could have done so much with it. So yeah, like I was saying, the Pop figure is an obvious choice. That's something that they should put at least one in every box. But like I was saying before, they should do the dioramas. Like they did with the 10-year reunion one, they did the Iron Man 2 diorama. They should do more things like that to set it aside. When they're just doing the individual figures, there's not much pull to it. But when they do the dioramas, it's a cool thing that you don't really see that much in the stores and out and about. So they should keep things more exclusive in that sense. And like I said, Archangel just is a weird representation because he's not the most popular character. He was in the X-Men, but he is a very small part of it. He wasn't around too much. Dark Phoenix, obvious, but because of the movie, but I wasn't a big fan of the Rock Candy series. I like what they're going for. Very similar to what DC's doing with the Bombshell, so a very similar style with that, where it's this almost kind of like 50s style, but in these figures. So I like the idea of it. I just don't think they do a good job on them. I don't think they do well, because the whole point of those Rock Candy figures is because it's all women for the most part, and they try to make them in these sexy ways, but they also have these very childish looking faces. So it's kind of awkward where they try to have like this sexual appeal, but they have this childlike form to it. It just doesn't really mix well. It never really has. So they should either do like Bombshells and make them more sexy looking, or do them just more like kid style toys. And they kind of have this halfway where they don't look that great. I really haven't seen any rock candy that I was like, oh wow, that's amazing, I'd really like to get that. So that's kind of how I feel about those in general. So just putting that series in, I don't think it's a good series, and I don't think that's a good choice. And then Dark Phoenix, fine. So and then we got the pen. I like those pens, they're cool, but you know, it's just a pen. And then socks. Socks are very ordinary, not much to them, no design quality, and then the notebook had very little design quality as well. So to sum up, that was very long-winded, but basically these Funko boxes have been getting smaller, less items, much less design quality to them, and it seems like Funko is often pushing the series that aren't selling well in stores, which may seem smart to them at the time, but isn't going to pay out in the long run. It's what's called penny smart but dollar foolish, in the sense that they're trying to push these series that don't sell well in stores, so they put them in a mystery box, so you have to buy the whole thing, so they just kind of put them out. But that's going to turn people off to them, because people just are going to stop getting those boxes because they don't like what's being represented in them. They need to put more effort into them so people come back. And the problem with it now, it's okay for the Marvel one, but the boxes that are in store is that everyone knows what's in there, so they aren't selling as much that way either. So when you go into Hot Topic, if you ask anyone that works there, they'll tell you everything that's in the Disney box, and it's very easy to look up as well. Whereas back when they did the subscription service, everyone that ordered it got it, and you didn't know what it was till it was already paid for. So I don't know why they went from that system. It seems like they're just losing money that way, and so many people are buying less of them, me included, because I probably would keep buying the Disney ones if I could remember when they even come out, if I even knew, if they gave some kind of notification, and if I had the time to go get it, which I don't. So it just seems like a bad move on their part, and the quality's been going downhill. I think I'll keep the Marvel one around because I still like Marvel more than anything else. And the ones I've seen in Target for DC, I'm pretty sure that's what they've gone with. It doesn't seem like a monthly subscription service in any way. It's just boxes like this, but it's not a mystery at all. If you look on the side of them, it says exactly what's in there, and the quality hasn't been great. They did an Aquaman one, they did a 50s Batman one, and the most recent one was a Bombshells one, which I thought would be cool. Then I looked at what was in it, and it was very boring. We had a Batman pop figure for that one, and a pin which looked good, and some trading cards, and again a notebook, another notebook. So it's just, they need to put more quality in there, because I was close to buying it, but it just seemed like a waste for what it was, because I really only wanted the pin and the figure, and I probably could have bought them separately. So they could really be making a lot of money on these things if they just played it a little smarter, but it doesn't seem like that's what they're going to do. So yeah, that was the Marvel Collector Corps X-Men one, and we'll see what the next theme is. What's the next movie coming out? So this is, I'm sure, was for Dark Phoenix and, oh, Avengers. So I'm sure they'll have something for Avengers. That comes out next month, and that's when the next box should come around that time. So I'll be excited for that. That should be pretty cool. Pup's getting restless. No beer? Yep. Alrighty. Next on the list, we got Geek Fuel EXP. And this is the fourth one they've had since they went to their quarterly system. Now, I'm still very much in agreement with their choice to go quarterly. I think that was a good call. That box was barely hanging on when it was monthly, and it just wasn't happening. So I really like that they went quarterly, because you can definitely see they stepped up the quality significantly, which was the right choice. It's better to have quality over quantity, in my opinion, almost always. So yeah, but I will say the first two boxes were great, but the last one wasn't that great, and this one was just okay too. It was better than the last one, but it seems like they're already putting less items in. When the first two boxes came out, there was so much in there, and I was pretty excited for it. That's when I subscribed, and I was pretty happy. But last one, not nearly as many items. Same with this one. This one was better than last month, but still not great. The shirt on there, really cool. I really like the shirt design. Whoever designed that shirt did a really good job, and it was with Spider-Man, then Miles Morales, and Spider-Gwen. Just had a really cool design to it, so that's great. They very rarely have good designs for printed t-shirts, not just this company in general. Usually when they print their own tees, they're very cheaply done. It looks like a cheap Photoshop job, but this one actually had some good design quality to it. Actually had some artistic style as well. So yeah, I really like the shirt, and it came with a little sticker. And then past that, we got another canvas print which we've been getting a lot of those. I don't think they should do those every month necessarily, but it's much better than the usual art print we get from companies. Usually we just get a little cardboard or paper print, and they're so cheap looking and no one wants to keep them. But when they put them on canvas, it looks very artistic. It looks like it has some real quality to it. So I appreciate that they do that, and those are ones that I would personally keep, whereas other art prints, I wouldn't even waste my time. And then we got some pins, the Pin Pals, which are, they're okay, but the problem is they don't give us full sets. They give us one or two of a set, which I'm not a big fan of. I wish they would give more of a set, but at least it's from Archer, which I like. I'm a big fan of the show. So those are cool, but, you know, the pins are okay. They could design them a little better. It's a little overly simplistic. They could do a little better there, but no big deal. And then we got the fertility idol from Indiana Jones. So this was fine. Like, it looks pretty much like it did in the movie, but the movie didn't look that great. So it seems like an odd choice, though. It's a very recognizable scene, but I don't think the idol specifically is that recognizable. Because when I saw the picture, I didn't recognize what it was from until they mentioned that. I remember that scene very vividly, but the idol was just kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of ugly looking, to be quite honest. So it seems weird that that was their choice when there's so many other options of things they could have done out there. So I don't know. I thought it was an odd choice, but still from a recognizable movie, and it was still somewhat cool. And then the other two items, we got a chip clip, which, whatever, fucking chip clip, and a dragon, Game of Thrones dragon from Titans, which we really haven't seen around in a pretty long time. I don't know what Titans has been up to, but they have not been putting out a lot of products lately, or at least just not stuff of quality, because I haven't seen things from them since they did the Alien vs. Predator series, and less so before that. And you know, they were a pretty good company. They had some good quality to them. They just haven't been putting out that much product. So the dragon, it looks okay. It's decent. It's not super great, but it's not bad at all. So that's cool. And even if you're not a fan of Game of Thrones, at least it's a dragon, and who doesn't like dragons? So yeah, so overall this one did just above, like, average. But again, we'll see what they do for box number 5. Like I said, 3 wasn't that great, 4 was okay, but they were nowhere near those first 2 boxes, and I don't think they're going to pick it up that much, in my opinion. Usually when the companies drop down like that, it's because of lack of business, lack of dollar amounts, because people aren't subscribing to the box as much as they'd like to, so it just seems like that pattern just kind of never really picks up again. But, you know, let's hope for the best. Next, got 2 boxes here from Loot Crate. Oh, pup. So yeah, Loot Crate's basically still around because this box is always free to me with their referral program. I only have to refer 4 people every once in a while, and it's a free box. So they have a really good referral program, but you know, the boxes are still just okay. Luckily, they're still pretty cheap, but nothing too amazing. Let me go to the picture. Sorry. So we're getting a t-shirt every month, and then 1 sub item, and then like 2 or 3 very small items. So the first one, we got a shirt from Black Mirror, which I actually just started watching. A pretty good show. I like it. But you know, I don't think that's a super recognizable. Pup, will you stop? Super recognizable series. I don't know how popular it is, to be quite honest, but yeah, I thought it was a decent shirt. And then we got some socks from Friends, which that's very funny. A little calendar, which is one of those things, same as the notebook. It's like, who is using these? Who's using like physical calendars these days? Besides like very small children. And if you're very young and small, like, what do you need to keep track of that's that important? So it just seems weird. And the pins are always pretty decent. And then the other item was an eye patch from a Kurt Russell movie, which was kind of goofy. And then the next month was actually pretty cool. We got something that was a little bit different. Sit down. That's it. So we got a t-shirt in here, which was kind of lame, actually. The t-shirt, oh no, I'm sorry, the January one, the lame t-shirt. The February one was actually pretty cool. The t-shirt was from Adventure Time, and the item we got was, what do they call it? A 3D comic standee. So we've seen these done before, not from a subscription box, but I've just seen them before. I had a bunch from Todd McFarlane and Spider-Man and stuff like that, and he did a bunch for... Will you cut it out? Oh my gosh. I mean, nuts, man. I just got pup hair everywhere. So the 3D comic standees we've seen before. There was a bunch of Spider-Man ones they did, and this is pretty cool. We got one from Hulk. It's not super great quality, but I like what they're going for there. Essentially, it's just a comic book cover that they've transformed into a 3D figure, or a standee as they call it. I like the idea though, cool concept, because there are so many comic book covers that are just like very iconic, and it's really cool to see them recreated in this 3D style. Like I said, Todd McFarlane did a bunch with movie posters. He did a bunch of horror movie posters like that were really cool, and he did a bunch of recreations of the Spawn comic covers like that. So I really like the idea. They definitely have room for improvement as far as quality, but overall still a cool idea, and I think they should do more of that. They've been trying different off things, like they had their little dioramas that they were doing for a while, which were not great in quality. Those kind of sucked. And they also had some partnerships which they lost. So this one seems like a good market to go for. Again, like I said, room for improvement, but I think they should go with that and focus on quality. I thought that was a really good choice. Then other than that, we just got a little pint from Naruto, a card replica from Transformers, and that was it. So it feels like they've done better in the last couple months, and I think they should go with the things they listed there. The shirt quality, the designs are kind of hit and miss sometimes, but you know, like I said, still good enough to keep around. It's cheap enough to keep around, and with referrals, it's just not expensive at all, so it's worth it. I think keeping around was worth it just for the comic standee and every once in a while getting a decent quality shirt. So, good enough for that. Alright, so we've already gotten to our last box. Like I said, off month, not a lot of quarterly boxes here. And we got Lootaku. And we got 2 different months here. We've been seeing a lot of My Hero Academia in these boxes. For a while it was a lot of Dragon Ball stuff. Now it seems to be My Hero Academia. Haven't checked it out myself. Have heard a lot of good things, and I keep seeing like commercials and stuff for it. It looks like a really good show. It looks really legit, and I want to check it out. So you guys can let me know what you think of the show too, if it's worth checking out. But from what I've heard, it absolutely is. So I've been meaning to check it out, and I'll probably appreciate these figures a lot more when I do. But regardless of that, we always get some things from Ban Presto or Crane King, and they do amazing jobs on their figures, so that's always great. So I have December and January here because the boxes in general come pretty late, and then this one specifically comes even later because it comes from Hong Kong. So that's why I have December and January and not January, February, because we're in the middle of March. Anyway, the December box, we got a duffel bag. Cool, always useful. Scarves, I'm kind of against that. I've never been a big fan of scarves. Companies keep trying to push them, but you know, I think some people use them. I have no idea what they do in Asia or in Hong Kong specifically. Maybe scarves are very popular. I have zero clue about that. But for me, here in America, especially on like the West Coast, I don't see anyone wearing scarves. Maybe it's more popular in the rest of the world. That's what I don't really know about, but I'm personally just not a fan of them. The pins they have been putting in have been phenomenal. They do just these fantastic pins, like these really big, huge, like diorama-sized pins, and they're just so detailed and they're so cool. I don't always recognize the characters from them, like the December one was from Tokyo Ghoul, and then January, My Hero Academia. But yeah, they're really amazing. Even if I don't recognize the characters, it's the same with the statues. Their quality is so good that I end up keeping them anyway, even though I don't know who those characters are half the time. But they're just so nicely done. They're absolutely worth checking out. And then the last item from December was kind of a holographic card where it changed the picture. Same thing, My Hero Academia. Then January, statue from My Hero. And then we actually got a Spider-Man statue. And they even say in the description, and I totally agree, Ban Presto very rarely does Marvel stuff, but when they do, it's really cool. They usually stick to anime-style stuff, which I think they should do more Marvel, because they do a really good job. They're very detailed. Spider-Man's a hard character to do, as always. It's hard to get the lines in the suit, and I think any company has a hard time with that, but it was a really cool Spider-Man statue, and I really like it. Then we got a Venom shirt. Again, same thing with the scarves. I don't recommend they put a lot of them in there because it's just very hard to get a universal size that'll fit like everyone in the world. But at least the design is simplistic and cool, so I like that. And again, the pin was really cool. Very good job. And that's all good. So this one, this is one of the few boxes I really haven't seen the quality dip that much. We've been seeing a little less items than we have for a long time. Like we were usually getting like 5 or 6 items. Now we're just kind of getting like 4 and maybe 5, so like one less item, not a big deal, but at least the quality's still there. They're still putting out great statues, they're still putting out great pins, and the shirts are like, you know, kind of hit and miss. And yeah, so that's one where this company has been pretty consistent, and seems like you can always count on them for the same things and good design quality and all that stuff. So yeah, that was all the boxes. Pretty short video. And hopefully we'll see more of them. And I'd love to get out there and buy all the boxes in stores, but money is kind of an issue. Not too much of one for me, but it's just a time thing. The amount of time it takes to go out, that I even know where half of them are, and then finding them. So it seems like the times I do go out and go shopping, I've been buying more collectible stuff, more things that are on sale and things like that. So like I said, follow me on Instagram to see some of the cool stuff I got. I got this really cool skate deck, a Dragon Ball Z one, which I'm really excited about. So I want to try and post some more stuff on there. Other than that, I hope to post some movie reviews or something like that. And other than that, it's hard to say I can do anything past that because I just don't have the time. Like I said, the gaming stuff is all on my brother's channel and people that I'm in the league with, so I would never have time to post them myself, so I let them record them, I let them post them, but I'm on there though, so you can check that out. They're pretty good stuff. We got some really good matches on there, so if you're a Smash Brothers fan, please check that out. Other than that, more gaming stuff to come, and for now, it's just going to be these monthly reviews and hopefully some movie reviews too. Other than that, thank you for whoever is still out there watching, and yeah, I don't think I have much more to say than that. Let me know what you thought of the boxes, and if there's some box you specifically want me to check out or review, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to make an effort for it. I'll try to go out of my way and buy them if they're in the store. Other than that, just let me know in the comments, and I'll try my best to respond. Thank you all for watching. This has been fun, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you all. Peace.